I know it feels like you've done all the hard work because you've written your story and you're ready to send it off to your editor, but in fact, writing the story is only the first step. And the second step, and equally important, is revising it and starting to see how we can make it better. So let's take a look at what revision involves and how we can do it to make our articles better. Revision is actually a French word. It means to see again, and the goal here is to give it a fresh perspective. Look at it critically. Try to look at it as a reader now instead of the writer. See where you can tighten it, where you can reorganize it, see where maybe it's structurally incomplete or weak, or you're not following the theme, all the things that would cause the reader to stop reading. Let's figure it out now before it ever gets in their hands. And it's important to remember this is not proofreading, so you're not looking for where a comma goes or, make sure your capitalization is right. All of that is important, but this is editing, and it's a much deeper process. This is a really difficult process, and it's hard because you've put a lot of energy and a lot of emotion and a lot of effort into crafting this article, and much of it you think is absolutely perfect, and it is perfect up until the second then someone else reads it. And so now you need to be that someone else who reads it, to look at it and say, this part needs to go, this part needs to move, I need to get more, recognizing there's going to be some work involved that may not feel so good. The first thing that you need to do in order to even begin to be successful with this process is to give yourself a cooling off period. So don't write your article and then immediately go back and start revising it, or don't even put it away for an hour. You need to put it away for a few hours or a day or two if you have the time, to be able to give it a fresh perspective and see it with fresh eyes. And when you do give yourself that fresh perspective, you're going to be surprised how many things you see that need to change. So, the process is not dissimilar to how you first started to structure the story. Let's take a look at the lead now. Are you being pulled in by that? Is your theme paragraph strong enough? Can I find the theme paragraph? Can you find it? Does it hold up the body? Does the body fulfill what the theme promises? Is there balance? Do you present both sides of whatever argument there may be, or full evidence? Do you have the right sources, the right number of sources? Are they saying the things you need them to say? Are there transitions between ideas? Do you have enough facts in the story? Is your opinion showing through? Do you have the opinion of your sources? Do you have enough quotes to support those facts? And then when you get to the conclusion, do you feel like you've been fulfilled by this story, or do you feel like you're still kind of waiting for something to happen? Think big. You have to think like this is a whole process and a whole project that you're looking at. Don't start looking at it paragraph by paragraph. The first thing you want to do is literally just read the whole story through and see, what does it feel like to you. Do you get bored while you're reading it? Do you want to skip over some parts? Do you feel like you're stumbling? That kind of self-critical perspective is going to help you decide, as the first reader on this thing, where does it need to have some correction and some augmentation. I often read my stories out loud. I'm sure I must seem oddly insane. I try to only do it in my basement when no one else is watching. But I do read them out loud because if there's going to be an area that I'm going to stumble over, I'm going to stumble while I'm talking. If there's something that's boring me, I'm going to start to hear it while I'm talking. If there's words that don't make sense or the flow's not going well, my ear is going to pick up things that I'm not getting when I'm just looking at it with my eyes. And, I have the opportunity to skip things, and I won't mind it when I'm looking at it with my eyes as opposed to reading it out loud. So see if there's places that you're bored or places that you get distracted. That's going to be a clear sign that your reader will do the same thing. While you're imagining yourself to be the reader, imagine you're also trying to explain to a 10-year-old boy what this story is about. Could you do it based on the theme paragraph? It has to be very straightforward, fairly simplistic. You might want to try to outline what it is that you're seeing in the article and see if that outline is actually the article that you wanted to have written. And as you're going through it, look to see if there's areas where you are using the same words over and over again, whether the rhythm is flat. Every story has basically an ebb and a flow to it, and you want to make sure that there's enough variety of sentences that your reader is compelled to keep reading, that they feel that kind of rhythm going through the story. Are you being as precise as possible? Are you calling something small or hot or big or whatever it is? You can go a lot narrower than that. You can be a lot more focused and give me a much clearer picture. Now's the time to do that. Are you using active voice or passive voice? The question may come up for you, do you need to be active all the time? I mean, we certainly learn that when we're going through English writing, but, there's going to be a lot of latitude in these magazine articles. There's going to be times that you have a one sentence paragraph. You may have a one word paragraph. That's okay, but you have to make sure that it makes sense within the framework of this story as you're looking at it again. Are we able to see the person that you're characterizing in this? Are your sources coming to life for us? Do their anecdotes resonate with us? Do we have enough anecdotes that we can get the story across? All of these things are going to come to play now that you're in this revision process. And you have to start thinking about what words you've used and whether or not they're the right words, whether or not you're using them accurately. How are your sentences structured? Are you ending sentences with preposition? Are you can get away with some things, so we can start sentences with conjunctions, despite the fact that our English teachers told us not to. But ending them with prepositions still sounds awkward. Are you using the right word imply or infer? Are you using the right there, or there? Are you using the right it's? Are you using the right affect or effect? All of these things have to be now taken into consideration, especially before they go out into the world, because once your editor starts to see that you have challenges as it comes to even using the proper words within the framework of your article, now's when you may not get hired a second time. And please show, don't tell. So I have these pictures of these two adorable children here. One of them clearly looks happy and one of them clearly looks sad. But if you could describe for me what makes her look happy and describe what makes him look sad, now you're really starting to give me that show, don't tell. Please remember that facts should be paraphrased. We don't need quotes to get the facts across. And a lot of times the quotes are going to be too wordy. We expect quotes to give us something richer, something more colorful, something that takes us through the story with even greater depth. Presenting facts in quotes doesn't do that. So get those facts out to us as tightly as possible, paraphrase them accurately, but then give us a quote that's going to support the fact. And as harsh as it may be, you have to be ruthless. Please try to avoid falling in love with what you've written. I know it's perfect to you. I know this is not a process that feels like it's going to be a great deal of fun for you. It's important, though, and it's important to remember that you don't write for yourself. You write for the reader. And if you are you're looking at this as something that you love and so other people may love it, that's probably not going to be the case. It has to be something that the reader is going to be committed to reading from beginning to end.